Wow. What a game. What a feeling. Yes, I do have feeling back in my hands now. It's exciting. Welcome to the Buffalo No-Huddle. We're here at the call center on the Genesee Community College campus. Buffalo No-Huddle brought to you by GCC and by Ficarella's Pizza. I'm Jimi Jamm from CJ Country. I host a morning show from 6 to 10. He is Marc Tillery, executive producer of the show, and Alex Brasky, reporter for the Batavia Daily News and Livingston County News. And we're glad to have another week. We got another week out of this, guys.
We did.
I don't know that. I mean, look, enough superlatives have been out there for the last 48 hours about this football game, but in your mind, did you anticipate blowout at all? I mean, I didn't see this coming in this fashion. I had it a 16-13 ball game.
I'm going to let Alex go first in this one.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I predicted 26-23, so clearly did not see the blowout coming. But when Josh Allen gets rolling, it's tough to slow him down. And he's had the Patriots' number the past two times. You didn't think it could get better from that second matchup during the regular season, but boy, it got better.
And what about you?
Like you said, we're always waiting for another heartbreak to happen after years of watching this team and
Scar
years
tissue.
of just the build-up and the hype. But this Buffalo Bills team's for real. I mean, I didn't expect them to put that many numbers up and that many points on the board, but I'm not complaining.
It was amazing to be in the stands and watch that game and see that unfold the way it did. It leaves me with so many questions. I mean, until we jump into player awards and jump into our look at the Kansas City game, the view from 10,000 feet. I mean, we had talked about, does Belichick have anything up his sleeve? Because we've always waited for that other shoe to drop.
Absolutely.
Wait to get hammered by New England. But Alex, it almost feels like maybe Buffalo this season, especially during that stretch went for like 2.5 months, 3 months, where they're win-loss. Like maybe they were holding something back.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got another gear that the whole league doesn't know about, and now they're ready to drop it on KC and whoever else is ahead of them the rest of the way. I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
well, you saw a hint of that against the Patriots, something you hadn't seen from them all season. The way they mixed their wide receiver groupings. They had all their wide receivers at their disposal for the first time in many weeks since that second Patriots matchup where Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis missed due to the COVID-19 protocol. But Brian Daboll was in his bag, as the kids like to say. He was mixing wide receiver groupings, keeping that Patriots defense off balance, and they really didn't know what was coming on a play-to-play basis. They would have one group out there, one snap, and then 2 plays later they'd have something that the Patriots hadn't seen from the Bills yet this season. So I think that was definitely something that Daboll really geared up for that game, and who knows what he's going to have up his sleeve for this week.
And I think the one thing that is a happy accident is the emergence of the running game and having Ryan Bates finally solidify himself on that line. And I think this running game going forward is going to be so crucial to what happens in Kansas City.
I like how you said it. Devin Singletary continues to stampede. Finished, 16 carries, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he went from a 3.3-yard average to a 5.1 average against the Pats in just those games.
Yeah.
So he's one heck of a force now. Hopefully he can bring that into Kansas City. And 47-17, he's a big contribution to that.
So why don't we jump into player awards? Let's talk about our most valuable for the game. I mean, I think I know what some of you might say and stuff. I may pick something else to be contrarian, but go ahead, Marc. Start with you. Who's your pick?
I wanted to dare to be different because I knew you guys were going there. And every time, I want to thank Alex for this, because every time that we go against Josh Allen or say something against him, the next week he sets the place on fire. So my player of the game easily is Josh Allen. Best game of the season, arguably best game of his career. Any QB that caps the first drive by throwing an accidental touchdown, that day is just going to go great for him at that point. Wow. So Josh Allen, MVP of the day. There's nothing needs to be said. He definitely made history and deserved MVP that day.
I guess mine would be the equivalent of not a lifetime achievement award, but a month-long achievement award. I'm going to give it to the offensive line because Allen has not been sacked in 4 games. Some of that is his ability to escape the rush, and they've figured out some creative things to do with the line and putting an eligible lineman out there to help him to roll right, because when he rolls right, good things happen. But you got to give props to the offensive line right now. They're just on point and doing everything they need to do.
When he rolls right, everything feels right. I mean, he played aggressive. I mean, he was a true leader in every sense out there, and he just made plays.
MVP, Alex, what's your pick?
It's impossible not to give it to Josh Allen. I hate to be repetitive, but it was the game of his career. They said the game of his career was that second Patriots matchup, but like I said, it was tough to imagine that it could get better, but it did. 7 drives that Josh Allen was on the field, 7 touchdowns. They never punted. They never kicked a field goal. They never turned the ball over. That's never been done before in NFL history. And to do that in the playoffs against a Bill Belichick coach team and your ultimate heated rival that has had your number for multiple decades and have that pressure heaped upon you, it's just a all-time performance from Josh Allen, and frankly, one that I don't think anybody will forget, but especially those people that were in the stands. And I brought this up on Twitter. I wonder how many thousands of people will claim to have been there. Like the comeback game, you always hear 300,000 people were at that game, apparently.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people will have claimed to have been at that game this past weekend.
I'll tell you, I was at the 51-3 Raiders beatdown. This felt like that in a lot of ways.
That's awesome.
We were looking at each other's stands going, do you believe this? Do you believe what they're doing right now? It was just total shock and awe. It was amazing. Let's talk about our Better Luck Next Time, which it's a way of calling our least valuable player, but a little more nicely. Better Luck Next Time. What's your pick, Mark?
Better luck next time. I mean, what happened to Bass out there, the missed extra points, the block kicks, everything else, obviously it goes to special teams. I mean, they didn't play a horrible game, but we didn't see Bad Hawk this week, so I guess that's a good thing, the fact that we didn't punt at all. But no, I think special teams definitely, I mean, those points can mean something if they're left on the field like that. So special teams, it's not a huge knock against them, but it was not a good showing. I
would agree with that, and also what I would add to it too on the opening kickoff, although it turned out not to be a problem. McKenzie, he fumbled the ball, went out of bounds, but I mean, it's like once again, ball security with him has got to be key. It's the reason why he wasn't in Denver anymore, and he was available for the Bills. You got to protect that football. We can't have that happen in a key situation when these games continue to mean something. Alex, you're
and you mentioned Isaiah McKenzie. He did a nice job on that play, coming up and fielding the kick, which was something he had trouble with against the Patriots in the previous matchup in Orchard Park. He fumbled that kick, and it turned into disaster. But like you said, unscathed from that one. But better luck next time. I'm right on par with Mark in this one. It's tough to say anything else but the special teams. Tyler Bass, really the lone couple of blemishes for the Bills, and just moving forward, it's going to be key that the Bills' kicking game and punting game really sure things up and join the party, so to speak, with the defense and the offense playing so well. You'd hate to see a game spoiled by a special teams miscue or just lack of production from the special teams.
And our Bro Seriously Award, this is the thing, could happen in their game, could happen elsewhere in the league this week. It's the kind of thing you go, bro, seriously? Mark, what is your pick for the Bro Seriously this week?
Oh, goodness. There's a few that I was throwing around this morning. I mean, I was talking about it all week because you look at Kyler Murray's performance on Monday was just abysmal. It was an absolute horrible performance. But I didn't want to go across the league, around the league. I wanted to stay in Buffalo. And my Bro Seriously goes to the idiot that threw the toy on the field this past week. It's a gift to be at that stadium after everything happened. No one was in the stands last year or anything like that. If you're going to take that route, stop making the fan base look bad. Honestly, keep that stuff at home. Whatever you do at home with it, I don't care. But do not throw it on the field. The Patriots didn't deserve it. The Bills didn't deserve it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. We're better than that.
Did you see the video on social media of the toy arriving at the airport? It was coming down the conveyor belt. It was quite the scene.
Somebody had to say it.
I'm glad you did.
Somebody had to say it. I mean, you're looking at the news, you're seeing it on the field. It's like even the Patriots are like, "Come on, man." Like we know we're bad guys, but come on, man.
Alex, is there something you could point to as a Bro Seriously this week?
I'll go outside of Buffalo. Mike McCarthy. The end of that Cowboys game. A lot of people, especially Cowboys fans, would like to blame the refs, but we've heard so many officiating experts and former NFL players, current, say that the refs were doing the right thing. The Bro Seriously comes down to, why are you running a quarterback draw with no timeouts left, under 20 seconds to go in a playoff game? You're basically gambling with your life there. And I don't understand the decision there. He doubled down on it, McCarthy did today in his press conference, saying that was the right call. Cut your losses, man.
It's just the Cowboys. It's inevitable. It's going to happen to them. Mm-hmm. So Dak's a new Tony Romo, basically. it's inevitable. The Cowboys.
Mike McCarthy is Charlie Brown.
I guess so. They're going to find a way to lose in the playoffs. I'm not. This is the Buffalo No-Huddle, but the Cowboys are just unreal. I'm happy. I'm not a fan of the Cowboys.
Here's my Bro Seriously for this week, and this is post this past weekend. TV pundits on the sports shows. Now, look, I'm not one of these guys that necessarily worries about Buffalo's street credential because we don't need anybody's validation as fans. And at the end of the day, as long as the team goes and wins, that's all that matters. Let the whole world hate. But I think what we've become as far as journalists, especially in this age of clicks and views and everything, is being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian. Keyshawn Johnson, your takes are idiotic. Idiotic when it comes to the Bills. He had the timelines wrong about Josh and when he started playing good versus not, and he's trying to make contention for why the Bills can't be this or that, and you can just tell it just felt contrived. He ain't good at it. You're not good at it. I mean, granted, Keyshawn, you and I look like a before and after photo, but you know what I mean? It's like, please, I could bring far more integrity to this job than you ever could. It's like, stop with trying to be contrarian for the sake of being contrarian. Can we just have real takes from real people, saying what they think, and leave it at that and let the public decide what they want? But I will preface that and put a punctuation on the sentence by saying, I don't worry about what the rest of the country thinks. I know so many people, like you follow on Twitter and social media, people worry about what people think about the Bills. Stop worrying about it. It don't matter. All you got to do is when you win, they got to shut up. Okay, so why don't we take a timeout right now? And we're here at the call center at GCC. Great facility. Let's talk about all that GCC has to offer.
Choose a school where the arts come alive, where science and technology thrive, to create something extraordinary. No matter which path you choose, GCC gives you the tools to start your next journey. Because when you choose GCC, your time is now.
All right, we're back, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Buffalo and Kansas City. Last year was the AFC title game. The Bills go down to a defeat. Now it's a divisional playoff game that almost feels like, and we've had this in other years. I mean, before you guys were even born, there'd be games that were between two teams in the divisional round that they would say this is literally the Super Bowl or the conference final. Back in the 70s, the Raiders and the Dolphins would play. They're like, this is the real Super Bowl. This sort of has that feel to it and that vibe to it. I have been spending the last 3 days trying to put my finger on how I felt about this matchup. I mean, there's some things that are obvious about it. Kansas City's tremendously talented. But how much have they improved since that part of the season? Because remember, when the Bills won against them, they were slumping at that point.
Oh,
they
of
were
course.
a bad slide.
Don't count any of the season games. What's going on.
Things have gotten better for them, but also too, I think in some ways the Bills have sort of found themselves too. I mean, when you look at this matchup from 10,000 feet, what do you see?
Look, Kansas City is opened up as a 2.5 favorite over Buffalo. I mean, that's pretty fair.
It's a pick'em game, essentially. It's a pick'em at that point.
I think Kansas City struggled a bit against Pittsburgh. The game's definitely going to be a slugfest. Both teams are re-energized. They're playing on another level. They're not playing in the slumps that they were this season. They're playing on another playoff level. Josh Allen's just lights out right now. The Bills' defense is lights out. I honestly don't think Kansas City has the team. I don't think they have the talent Buffalo has. I mean, you have Mahomes back there. You have some key players, but you certainly don't have on both sides of the ball the talent the Buffalo Bills have, especially watching Kansas City struggle against Steelers, and the Steelers didn't do so good going down the stretch.
In this playoff format, I mean, I like the fact that the Bills are going to be healthy this year compared to last year with Beasley, and I think even Diggs had something last year going on injury-wise. So I like having the full panoply of who we got offensively there. The Chiefs got their playmakers though and stuff. I mean, Edwards-Helaire out, and then his backup is killing it. I mean, they got talent. They got a lot of talent. Being at home, there's something to be said for it. I do like the fact it's going to be warmer. I do like that for the Bills. And if there's no precipitation, do we even know if there's any rain or anything? I think it
seems like a very calm weather weekend.
That's what I'm saying. A fast track is great for Josh Allen. Alex, where do you before we get to the whole thing of picks and everything? I mean, what's your view overseeing this whole thing? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. They've had guys step up outside of the classic stars like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. It's not just those two doing all the work. You have McCole Hardman, who's stepped up and contributed. Jerick McKinnon in recent weeks, the backup running back, has been catching the ball out of the backfield and doing a lot. So there's much more to it than just those two, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. And I think the Bills really have to be aware of kind of the new look Chiefs as the season has gone along. They spread it around a lot more. They don't turn it over as much. They play much smarter football than they were at the beginning of the year. So I think the Bills really have to be on their P's and Q's in this game, and it's going to come down to which team makes the least mistakes. And in the last game, it was the Chiefs, a red zone interception, a pick six from Mahomes. And if Allen can be as perfect as he was last game, obviously it's going to be tough to beat the Bills, but Mahomes also has that ability to light up the stat sheet.
I feel like every time Buffalo steps on that field, they're better and better. I feel like it's just a different all-around team, and no matter what, they improve on both sides of the ball every time they step on the field. I feel Kansas City's kind of leveled out if you look at the last couple games they played. So I feel Buffalo is a stronger team going into this. like Alex says, there's a lot of weapons on Kansas City, but when you look at a chart, you got the Chiefs' weapons, you got Buffalo's weapons. Buffalo's just a stronger team overall with way more weapons if everybody's on the same page and all that. Just all the talents, running on all cylinders at the same time.
I think there's two linchpins in this game. See if you guys agree with me. Can the Bills continue what they're doing running wise? Because if they do, it makes Josh Allen's job a whole lot easier and makes play action a lot easier for him to create some problems and to have Dable open up the playbook. But they got to be able to run the ball. The other linchpin is at one point when the Chiefs were slumping early in the season, their defense was absolutely abysmal. It has improved, but statistically, it's still sitting about middle of the pack in the NFL. It's the Bills obviously have the better defense, albeit. The running game's was their bugaboo early in the season. Maybe they've tightened some of that up, fixed some of that. I think it comes down to how good is Kansas City's defense and can Buffalo run the ball? For me, I mean.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. Also, I think it comes down to the Bills have to pressure Patrick Mahomes, and they have to do so without blitzing. Last time around, they were able to get a little bit of pressure on Mahomes, but once you start cranking up that extra pressure and blitzing him, that leaves less defenders in the secondary to cover the pass, and that's really when he's on his best game. So the Bills really have to get after Mahomes and do it with just 4 rushers.
You got to force Mahomes to make mistakes early. That's exactly it.
One spy does not help either. Judon found that out the hard way with Josh Allen, and same thing with Mahomes. You know what I mean? In space, it's tough to put a guy on him and say, okay, you're going to watch him. Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, refresh my memory on this, but how well was our running game? Was Buffalo's running game during the first win against the Chiefs?
I want to say
it was nowhere near as productive as it's been down the stretch.
There it is. I mean, there's an X factor there that Kansas City now has to prepare for and look out for, and that's Devin Singletary. And if Singletary can't get it done, or they're going to bring him the two-headed monster, which is Moss, if Moss is healthy, and you're just going to see another weapon out there for Allen to work. And if the offensive line stays as strong as they have been, I mean, Allen had 9 seconds in the pocket on that first touchdown, where the throwaway to Knox.
I literally, from the time the last game ended to knowing we were going to play the Chiefs, I'm still trying to figure out what my prediction is. So right now, we're going to get our game time fix and bring you the other sponsor of the Buffalo No-Huddle, Ficarella's Pizza. When we come back, we're going to give you our predictions for the game. And I hope to figure it out by then.
Nick Ficarella, the pizza making university.